Hello, Knicks fans. How are y'all today? I hope everybody's doing well in the midst of all this turmoil going on. Today, I want to discuss the New York Knicks and Chris Paul. The New York Knicks and Chris Paul. I want to also just start off and make this very, very clear. Any proposal I make, any idea I have, is always 100% going to be pro Knicks. This is a Knicks channel. Maybe I will, eventually maybe speak on just general NBA things. But the only team I really watch, I like basketball and there's other teams I admire, but the Knicks are my team. And I'm not into downing my team or looking negatively on the players on my team. Let me say this very clearly. No matter what the Knicks do, at the end of the day, I'm going to still root for them. They're going to still be my team. Okay? They're going to still be my squad. And so when you listen or watch my videos, that's the perspective I'm looking at. You may not like it. Some people may not like it or it may not make sense to them. That's their business. I'm looking at it as a Knicks fan and I'm trying to be as if I'm in a position to make decisions. And I'm looking at it like that. Okay? So let's talk about the New York Knicks and Chris Paul. First of all, let's look at the latest news that has come out is that the rumor is they are moving the draft to mid-November, which if they do that, that would also push everything back. So in other words, the December 1st deadline, Adam Silver's already alluded to, that's gone. So we may not even have the season start until the new year. It may not even start till like January 1st or sometime after that because even though it makes sense that they would try to start it during the Christmas holidays, that's big revenue time, but they're going to push everything back. So it's going to, let's say mid-December, maybe, they try to start. But why is that important in terms of the New York Knicks? Generally speaking, NBA teams have a season that ends sometime in June with the championship, okay? Right after that, within probably a week, is the NBA draft. Okay. And then right after that, on July 1st, is free agency. That's generally how it works. Now, there are rules that, you can't tamper and there's tampering rules. And among those rules is you're not supposed to have contact. Agents are not supposed to be contacting teams about their players before July 1st. But in the real world, they do. Okay. In the real world, just think of it. It's you. Okay. You're an agent and you have an NBA player. You're trying to do the best you can for your client for a number of reasons. Number one, it's just the right thing to do. Number two, your client makes money. You make money. Number three, if you do right by the client, you may be able to attract more players. Okay. All right. So, there's all of that. And so they're going to skirt the rules and so there's nothing written. I wouldn't say like a team's going to write down anything because now you have proof, right? But the agents will contact general managers about their players. That's definitely going to happen. It's definitely happening. Now, generally speaking, you can see this happening in the second half of a normal season as teams are clearing what kind of cap space they have, what their situation is, what their draft position is, so on and so forth. This year is different because, the season now probably will end in October. I think they're planning to have it end. And there's a lot of time, like especially for the teams that are not in the playoffs or those eliminated or those that didn't make it. There's a lot of time between now and the NBA draft in mid-November and then the start of the season after that. Okay. So that being the case, there's a lot of conversations going on. And not only that, in the New York Knicks case, they will have a clear idea of who they want, how much they're willing to pay. Okay, they have a clear idea, all right? And they have plenty of time. All the teams have plenty of time to make their best pitch. The greatest weapon the New York Knicks have right now is cap space. That's the greatest weapon we have right now, and we need to use it as a weapon. Okay, Chris Paul. And how old is Chris? Well, first off, let's go. I'm looking right at his contract. Chris Paul has 2 years left on his contract. This coming season is $41.3, $41.4 million. That's this contract. And then he has 44 million due to him the following season. All right. So that's what we're dealing with Chris Paul at this point. So he has 2 years and about $85 million left on his contract. Okay. Okay. And I mentioned to you in another video that the NBA never says something like straight out. They're going to give you hints. They're going to allude to it. And I mentioned it with regard to Julius Randle. I said the Knicks never said. Now, recently it's come out. Some people are saying it's their top priority to get rid of Julius Randle. But in June, they didn't say that. What they said was, we need a stretch four. That's what they put out in media. We're looking for a stretch four. So that's telling Julius Randle and his agent, you know what, we're done here. Unless we want to come off the bench, because Julius Randle is the starting four. So if they're looking for a stretch four, you know, and the players that are, and in fact, that article that I read, they had Brandon Ingram and Danilo Gallinari on the front page. Well, those are starting fours, or they could be, you know. So that's telling Julius Randle, you know what, we're not starting. Okay, now they've made it more known. Okay. Chris Paul, after they lost the other day, came out, thanked the city, Oklahoma City, thanked the fans. It was like he's saying to them, because Chris Paul is smart. He's the Players Association Union president. He's like a businessman. He knows his business. And even before he became the president, he was involved with the Players Union very heavily in terms of negotiations and such. So he's not a dummy. He knows the business of the game. So you can see by that video, he's already saying, I know I'm out of here. Now, he didn't say where he was going, obviously, but he's out of there. Now, Chris Paul is like a lot of players. He obviously made the bag. He got his money, you know, between the 40-something million he signed, these State Farm commercials, he got money. That's not the problem. Okay. What does he want then? He wants a championship. He wants a chip. It's eluded him his 15-year career. The New York Knicks are not even close to being a championship team. We are a rebuilding team. We are rebuilding. Okay. No matter who we sign, with the exceptions of the top players like a Giannis or AD, basically, I would think that's all I can think about as far as that's concerned. Or Luka. We're not talking about playoffs next year unless, you know, we overperform, unless Thibodeau does a tremendous job. We are rebuilding. Okay. If we get 35 to 40 wins or the short season equivalent of that, that will be a successful season for us this coming season. Okay. A guy like Chris Paul that's looking to win a chip is not going to come to New York. I don't care what his relationship is with Leon Rose. Okay. I've heard rumors of him going to Milwaukee. Now that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Because at Milwaukee, you put him in instead of Bledsoe. You know, Bledsoe's not a bad player, but he's not Chris Paul. So that could be the difference between them winning the chip and not. So Chris Paul's going to be looking to go to a winner. Now, the second problem I have, the Knicks, you know, we can say whatever we want about Steve Mills and about Scott Perry. Yes, they paid double for Julius Randle, really double than what he was actually worth as a player, right? They did. And then, in spite of that mistake, we still have 45 million in cap space. And that's with the current cap, as if they don't even raise the cap. At the current cap situation at 109 million, we got 45 million in cap space. Okay. That's our strength. The Oklahoma City, they are, with the salaries they got right now, I'm looking at basketballinsiders.com. They're repeater tax eligible. They have no cap space. Repeater tax. So, you know, and that means they're over the luxury threshold. And even they don't have cap space. And this site even raised the cap to 115. They still don't have cap space, right? So they got a shed salary. Okay. I don't care how rich their owner is. They're in a small market. They're in a small market and they're not going to be in a playoff position. So they're going to start. And then the revenues now, again, I mentioned in another video with Golden State, the revenues are cut. Now, Golden State's owner is a multi-billionaire. You know, maybe he don't care about paying the luxury tax, but in a small market like Oklahoma City, I don't think so. So they got to shed salary. They got to shed Chris Paul's salary, Steven Adams' salary, Dennis Schroeder's salary. Okay? That's their goal probably. They got to shed salary, especially Chris Paul, right? So I'm seeing where there are scenarios where the Knicks obtain Chris Paul by us giving them draft picks. We are rebuilding. Okay? We are rebuilding. When you're rebuilding, you're not giving up no draft picks, especially first rounders. You don't do that. Okay? If they want first rounders for Chris Paul, let them keep Chris Paul. We in good financial position. We not in the luxury tax. They had the problem, not us. Okay? We're doing them a favor by even taking him. And we're not even taking them like that. If we got Chris Paul, they'd have to take Julius Randle. They'd have to. Because if we didn't do that, what you're doing is use all your cap space on this 136-year-old player. He's not winning us a championship next year, nor the year after. Okay? And I'm really tired of people thinking that every move the Knicks make, we got to give up stuff. As if, it reminds me of a crackhead that wants a fix. And when you offer him a little taste, he's emptying out his pockets, whatever he stole, to give it to you for that little taste. That's what they treat us like. We're not like that. We don't need to be like that. While Chris Paul, if he came to the Knicks, just all things being equal, if he came to the Knicks, well, he'd help us. Just like he helped Dennis Schroeder, just like he helped Shai Gilgeous-Alexander develop. That's huge. That's big time. But is it worth $85 million? $85 million over 2 years? And they talking about us giving up picks? Come on now. Come on now. No. I say, see, when you are in a rebuilding team, like I said, we need to look at Pat Riley or Danny Ainge. We got to be hard, man. This is business. We got to be hard like a brick wall. Like, we're going to say no first. What? Chris Paul for what pick? No. What? We want us to move up and trade Mitchell Robinson? No. See, our most valuable asset aside from the cap space is our draft picks. Okay? And this is not a great draft. It's not about moving up, as I said before, to try to get a better position. It don't matter what position we get. If we just accumulate picks, the more picks we got in this one, the better. Okay? The more picks we got, the better. Look at Phoenix. They accumulated picks. Some of them, like Josh Jackson, didn't work out. Okay? But look what they got. They got Ayton now. They got Mikal Bridges. They got Devin Booker. And Devin Booker wasn't even a high pick. I think he was like 19th or something. I mean, he was definitely outside the lottery. And he's the best player of all of them. So now they're in position where they got some cap space. They got their solid core of young players. And they're looking to trade Kelly Oubre because they don't want to get another rookie. They already went through all of their draft picks and got the gold out their draft picks. See, now everybody's going to work out, but the more of them you get, the bigger opportunity you have to pop one. So now they're looking for another veteran. That's why they're talking about trading or selling Kelly Oubre in the 10th pick to whoever got cap space. Now, we might be interested in that. And I looked at the Phoenix fans, and they're not with that at all, because they like Kelly Oubre, because Kelly Oubre is a good player. I looked at his rehab. He's strong again. He's ready to come back. It's all mental with him right now. His knee is fine. Okay? But Chris Paul, I like Chris Paul. Greatest point guard in the last 10 years to me. No doubt. But I'm not paying no $85 million, and not for daggone sure ain't giving him no draft picks. Not mine. Not while we trying to rebuild. Now let him go to Milwaukee. They about to win a chip. Let him do that. Let him go to Milwaukee. Let him go to the Lakers, play with LeBron, and try to get that chip. Okay? That's the best thing. But to the Knicks, no, don't stop looking at the shiny object across the street, man. This one ain't gonna work for us. This ain't good for us, man. This is not good for us. If we gotta give up picks, we don't want it. Okay? Tell me what you think.